Hey, I'm James, and welcome to Alternate Sides, a podcast about movies, parking, and a 25-year friendship. It's a double bill this week. Vincent Gallo's Buffalo 66, starring Gallo himself and Christina Ricci, and Thomas Vinterberg's Festen, or The Celebration, a Danish movie starring Ulrich Thomsen, Paprika Steen, and Thomas Bo Larsen. Two great independent movies, one of which, as you'll hear, absolutely blew me away. Along the way, we also discuss Sam's generosity as an artist and the Dogme 95 vow of chastity. Here we go. Whoa! Christmas is coming. The goose is getting fat. We're 5 days out.
Is that right? Is it 5 days? You're right.
I do like the holidays, and my children will be home today.
Oh, that's nice.
In this, the year of our Lord 2024, we've only had 4 days where we were all together.
Oh, wow.
So now we've got a couple of weeks, lots of time to get sick of each other.
Lots of time really...
for some toasts. For some toasts after dinner. The green one or the yellow one? That's a reference to the movie The Celebration, which we'll discuss shortly. I really feel like we could spend 45 minutes on each of these movies.
Yeah.
I think we should start with Buffalo 66, but I also want to say as a teaser that The Celebration just blew me away. Just totally incredible.
I'm so glad that you brought it up in the list, because sometimes, especially foreign ones, I know they sneak under the radar and we don't get them. It does stand up as just a hell of a movie, I think. We'll get into it. But also,
was that a little bit of a dig at me about foreign films, about my being xenophobic or something? Or
it's not a dig at you. No. It's not.
They tend to slip under the radar.
I think they do for everyone. It's not. Everyone looks at the lists, and those are not necessarily the movies that show up on the list.
Well, we'll get to it. But let me talk about why I'm coming in hot. So it's a few days before Christmas. My kids are coming home. I had a cold. I was in London, and I got a cold the day I flew back. Because on the course of the plane ride, I went from being well to being sick.
That's all it takes.
And but now I'm over it. And you know the feeling after you've had a cold where just being back to normal health feels like you could take on the world?
Yeah. I'm still waiting for that. I'm not able to shake. I've had a rough month of it physically, just terrible. And I'm not able to shake this, whatever I have. It's not a cold, but I have this cough. Just a dry, persistent cough.
Dry, persistent cough. Great. It's probably the bird flu. That should be floating in anytime soon.
What are the symptoms of just death? You just keel over and die?
I only know the symptoms in dairy cattle. I don't know the symptoms in people.
How different could they be?
Are your udders feeling a little tender this morning?
A little swollen. And I'm off the grass. The grass doesn't call to me the way that it usually does.
It doesn't call to me. Well, and finally, this evening, I'm going over to my friend Todd's for a spot of Gloomhaven.
Oh, God, not again.
Yeah,
when will this game be over?
You're just jealous, man. You're just jealous.
So jealous of the orcs and the fucking werewolves.
My brute leveled up last time. I'm now at level 6.
It's like fucking Scientology as a board game. What?
My brute has gone clear. It will go on
forever and ever.
Well, I think there are dozens and dozens of scenarios, and each time we meet is a different scenario. So, and we meet typically once a month, so it's going to be years.
Oh my God.
And then, of course, once you do Gloomhaven, then there's Frosthaven, which is its own entirely.
Of course, there is. It's totally different.
So anyway, I'm feeling chipper.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad to hear.
There's a spring in my step, and I'm also looking forward to discussing these movies. Now, this is a period of great independent movie making, I feel like, in America, and that
100%,
and that also coincided with a moment in our lives where we were both in New York, in that world, excited, watching all these movies. Not me, of course, watching all the movies, but people I know watching.
This was literally the moment when I arrived in New York. So I came here in late 98, early 99, basically. And this is the environment that I wanted to be a part of.
Yeah.
This is the scene. Obviously, Vinterberg is making this film in Denmark. But this idea of Dogma 95, the American independent movies getting made for not too much money, but living on the cinema, people going to talk about them, see them, engage in them. That was entirely the world that I was like excited to try to crack into.
And you could make a low or no budget movie as a first-time director, and, you know, if things lined up, really...
First of all, these movies are both, I would guess they probably were made for probably $1 million or so. They've got actors in them that are recognizable. They're not like what we did when we made Cry Funny Happy, where we made it for $5,000. They are made for a budget, but that budget can go a long way. So with $1 million, you could make this movie with Angelica Houston and Ben Gazzara and Mickey Rourke, and, you know, like put it together. And also, he shot that on reversal film.
What does that mean?
It's a kind of film stock. It's the film stock that you don't make negative from. It's what we learned on in Sight and Sound and NYU. We would do 8mm reversal. So what you run through the camera is what you get back and what you edit on. Now you can make prints of that, but it's not like you shoot it and then there's a negative, and then the negative gets put somewhere else, and then you cut on the positive or whatever. Now it's all different because it's digital. Most people do this all digital, but reversal has that very old school film vibe. I think it was 16 reversal he shot.
It looks very much and feels very much, I think, like a movie from the 70s, like a Hal
and
Ashby
that's the
movie,
idea. That's
like
the
a
idea.
Cassavetes movie, whatever.
That gritty, that color, the faded color stock, the texture, the grain. It's got that thing. And obviously, what was about to show up is what Vinterberg is doing, which is DV, like digital video. Which is pre-HD. There wasn't really HD cameras at that point that you could use. But Celebration was shot on, same thing we shot, basically, Cry Funny Happy. Slightly, he shot on Sony, I think we shot Panasonic. But same basically digital video cameras. You shot on mini DV tapes, dirt cheap, and, looks like shit, but there is an aesthetic to that. There is an immediacy to that.
I think for us too, it's hard for us now, 25 years later or whatever, to see it that way. But my recollection is that digital video, those first digital video movies, looked really weird to my eyes.
Well, it's a different frame size, right? It's a 1:3:3. It's a TV frame size. And although usually we would crop it, so we would we would just mask out the top and the bottom and make it into 185 aspect ratio. But he didn't do that. He left it as the 1:3:3 because that's part of the Dogma rules, probably, where that you can't do anything like that in post.
Well, let's talk about Dogma for just a second. So Dogma 95 was this sort of manifesto, notorious thing that Vinterberg and Lars von Trier, I think, was the most famous proponent of.
Yeah, there were 4 of them, I think, who actually signed the manifesto.
And the idea was it was a sort of deliberate, provocative, really, turning away from mainstream movie making, and there were these rules.
Hollywood, like high production value, like a lot of things. So I don't remember all the rules, but the main things were you shoot everything handheld. You can't do sound, you can't fix it in post, basically. Right. Everything has to be shot on location. Director doesn't get credit. There's no music. You're not allowed any music. Nothing that can be put on after. No effects, obviously, no thing. But basically trying to create this immediacy and intimacy of this new medium, which was digital video. So the digital video allowed you to do long takes and just cut stuff up and coverage or whatever. And this was this idea, like, how can we use this to and impose constraints on ourselves as filmmakers and see where that takes us. I think Lars von Trier famously said that the problem was that Vinterberg, with the very first Dogma movie, knocked it out of the park, and there was very little for us to do after that. Right. They did continue to make Dogma movies, but in a way, it's true that The Celebration is the one that probably will be the poster child of that movement, because it is just extraordinary as a movie, and he nailed it.
Oh, I should also say, I knew absolutely nothing of these 2 movies except for the titles, and that is unquestionably the best way to go into a movie.
Definitely, especially movies that have an impact. Yeah.
A quick recap of Buffalo 66. It's basically about this guy, played by Vincent Gallo, the director, who emerges from prison in the beginning of the movie and essentially kidnaps a young woman, played by the teenage Christina Ricci, and makes her pretend to be his wife so he can go back to his parents' house and claim that he's successful and that he's married. They don't know that he's been in prison. And then eventually you find out why he's in prison, and that's because he made this disastrous bet on the Buffalo Bills Super Bowl game, which they lost in the final minute because of a bad field goal kick. And so this character is planning, when he gets out of prison, which he does at the beginning of the movie, to hunt down the kicker of the Buffalo Bills, who's now retired and owns a strip club, and kill him. Mm-hmm. That's the movie. Now, it opens with him. It's Buffalo. It's gritty. It's cloudy. It's snowing. He gets released from prison. He's wearing all like charcoal gray, shitty clothes and these ridiculous red shoes.
Love the red boots, yeah.
And he's waiting at the bus stop. And the music is melancholy. So far, so good. And then suddenly the screen starts getting cut up into this sort of collage. Like suddenly there's imposed these little squares that have different stills or film, which you quickly realize are like snapshots of his time in prison. And it's so effective. And I thought it does so many different things. It's like a great character moment. You see all this backstory about him. And it establishes the tone so quickly, but it also lays out, I was thinking if this was something you would say, that the rules of the film, like this film is going to be like this. This is the language of this picture, you know?
It's really great. It's an amazing thing that he does. I think I agree with you. It's so effective. It tells you everything. It's kind of beautiful because it's moving. It's like a moving collage. It's not stills. It's video or film. And then it's also, it establishes an idea that, okay, you might think this is going to be gritty, indie kind of thing, but actually there's a very firm hand stylistically.
Right.
And I think that's the thing that I would say unites these two movies, is that they both have an extreme like emphasis on the style with which they're telling the story. And the style is intrinsic to the story.
I thought of you, as I saw that, and I thought in the first minute, to use a phrase of yours that's been uttered on this podcast a few times, like, he's fucking going for it.
Yeah.
Like, whatever else you might say, he's fucking going for it.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I have some issues with the film and with his character and with the sort of, I guess we would call it gender politics of the movie as it looks to 2024 eyes. But
there's a lot. And Gallo, I'm sure we'll talk about, is a bit of a twat. Like, everyone agrees that he's a megalomaniac, insufferable. Apparently, everyone on the set hated him. But he establishes this thing, and then quickly in like the parents' house, he develops it. So you have this scene with Ben Gazzara and Angelica Houston, Christina Ricci, and Gallo at a dinner table, and he keeps doing these 4 shots in quadrants, right? He keeps breaking off from one person. It's a very artificial style.
Yeah, so the shot is a square table with 4 people sitting around, and the point of view of the camera is from one person's point of view. So you're looking at, and you can see 2 people, one on each side, and one person facing you. But then when the person across talks, or when we cut to the exact shot from the opposite side of the thing. Yeah. So it's very squared off and very artificial. Yeah.
He actually sets it up with the car shot. Did you notice that? And when the car is sitting outside the house before they go in, we get 4 shots around the car exactly like that. 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90
degrees.
No,
that's interesting.
And then they go into the house, and then he does it at the table. But then what's interesting is, while the table scene is going, this new trope comes along, which is this little box becomes big, and the flashbacks basically emerge from almost within the character.
Right.
And you get these things, sometimes just picture, sometimes with audio, but like, you know, the kid's birthday, or Ben Gazzara killing the pet dog, or whatever, traumas from the past, the mom, whatever. And you get these things, and this becomes a thing throughout the movie where we go back and where we revisit moments from the past until the very end of the movie, when he flips it, where at the end of the movie, he flashes into the future. When he's about to kill Scott Wood, And you get this whole sequence where he does kill Scott Wood. And instead of it going again into this screen, he does it in a totally different way. He does these weird frozen, everyone's just frozen in time, and the camera moves around. And it's the first time where he flips that idea of going into the past into the future. And then he comes back via that technique to the current day again. So it's all planned. There's a real sophisticated plan of like attack here, of how we're going to tell the story. A story that is clearly and I would say this unites the two things, is that they both are dealing with damage. And how does damage manifest itself, right? In a character.
This is my stock and trade. This is my bailiwick.
Exactly. So that, I think, is also interesting, the way that both of them try to illustrate the root of the damage and then the how it comes out.
One thing that's interesting about that is, and this also makes it, to me, a very clear throwback to those 70s movies, is that the protagonist is not that likable.
Yeah.
He is very much a flawed 70s type hero of the movie.
I love it. He's not a person that I would like to hang out with, but I think it is an incredible portrait. I think the thing that makes it work for me is that he's at once such a complete asshole, but also a child. He is so childish. He does some things like when he says to Christina Ricci, "If you do this, I'm gonna fucking kill you." But if you don't do this, if you don't do that, I will fucking take a, what does he say? Take a bite out of your cheek and shit you out.
Yeah.
Like, he's so mean. And then in the next sentence, he says, "But if you do it, you'll be my best friend. I'll be your best friend that you ever had." Like, and it's so, 8 years old.
Well, there's a whole sequence in the beginning where he has to pee and he can't find a toilet, and he's sort of like running to the toilet, like almost holding his crotch, trying to keep it in.
Yeah.
The way that a child would.
The way he gets up from his mom's bed, having made the phone call to Goon, Kevin Corey, and then he tidies the bed.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking. Like, there's so many things like that in the film. Him in the bath.
Yeah.
Don't look, he's so broken.
Right.
He's so,
this is I hadn't really thought of that, the child thing. It's true. Yeah, you can come in, but don't look. Don't look at me.
Don't look.
Yeah.
He's so ashamed. He's so broken.
Yeah.
He's so broken.
Well, his parents are horrendous. Ben Gazzara especially is a complete monster. Although there's this scene where he says he used to be a singer, and then she wants to hear the tape. He doesn't want to give her the tape. And then he's like, okay. And you go in, I had no idea what to expect. And it's incredible. Yeah. It's so beautifully sung.
But it's also fake, right? It's clear that he's not singing. It's very hyper stylized. It's a record. It's lip syncing. It's very it reminds me of the scene in the Blue Velvet where
Dean Stockwell. I thought that too. Yeah.
But the parents are monsters. And they've just destroyed this kid. So the combination of him being this broken child, and also it's very funny. Like the bit, I think there's the sequence in the photo booth. Yeah, is hilarious. We're the couple. We span time. We're gonna span time. We don't touch. We're the couple that don't touch me. Don't fucking touch me. We're the couple who don't touch, but we span time.
Yeah, they're in this old school photo type booth, and he's getting these pictures taken of him and Christina Ricci. And he keeps saying that we're spanning time. And I didn't understand what he meant. And then you find out, you realize he's expecting to kill himself or go to prison again for murdering this kicker. And he wants her to have all these photos and then every year send a photo to his parents of the two of them as though spanning time, as though they're
exactly.
But also like a child would never doesn't realize that they look the same in each photo, that's a so he's going after this kicker. In real life, the kicker's name is Scott Norwood, and I guess they approached Scott Norwood to be in the movie and be in this movie where I'm stalked and hunted by a deranged Bills fan?
Where I'm a big fat guy with a strip club.
He said no. So then he made it from instead of Scott Norwood, he's just called Scott Wood. And apparently, I saw this on the internets that the NFL also wouldn't cooperate. So they're never called, or you never see the phrase the Buffalo Bills. They're either just referred to the team as Buffalo or as the Bills, which is
Oh,
sort of
really?
weird.
Just to get away from like copyright. That's funny.
So anyway, he goes in at the end. He hunts down this guy, Wood, and the relationship with him and Christina Ricci, which is, I think, problematic. And she is this kind of like very convenient character. We know nothing about her. She has no backstory or agency, really. She's just this sort of.
But she's so charming, though. I love her. I really, at heart, this movie is a romantic comedy, and I think she's perfect. I've totally fell in love with her in this movie.
She's great, and the performance is amazing. But obviously, you couldn't do that nowadays, where he just grabs her.
It would be different.
Yeah.
But it's not like this was okay in 1998 to kidnap someone. It's two people who are fundamentally broken. She's a little less broken than he is, but clearly she's also not doing great.
All right, so he gets to the strip club. Let me just say this. He gets to the strip club. He finds the guy, and then what seems to have, and he comes in with this amazing sequence of like this prog rock. I think it's Yes playing. And he comes in, and it's all like gold curtains behind him and the light, and he's kind of coming through the club, and he sees the guy, and he pulls out the little gun, and he shoots the guy in the face. And then you cut to, you referred to this earlier, this strange sequence where he fires the gun, and then you go into this like seemingly a still shot of Scott Wood with the bullet hole, like and the brains coming out of the back of his head. But then the camera, almost in this kind of like Matrix bullet time way, starts to like revolve around him, and you see that this is just like an incredible practical special effect of like the blood, seemingly frozen in time coming out of the back of his head, but obviously isn't. And then they rotate around, and then Gallo shoots himself, and then they do the same to him in this amazing sequence of shots where he falls to the ground or whatever. And it ends up being a kind of fantasy, or, that's not what actually happens. It's the moment where he kind of comes to and realizes that
he chooses life. Chooses life
and love. Yeah.
What is great about, and this is what makes it a romantic comedy, because he's, again, the child, he's called his best friend and said, "You can have my things."
Right.
You can have my things. It's very sad, and Kevin Corrigan's like, I don't want your stuff. That's your stuff, whatever. And then after he chooses life, the change in tone, he goes and buys the donut, the cookie, and he buys a cookie for the guy.
Yeah, great scene in the donut shop.
The weight that is lifted from him at that moment, and he's been given a shot. He's given a go, and he's going to take it. And he's going to have a go at this.
Well, you might say that this is maybe the therapist in me, but. He's loved for the first time. He feels what it is to be accepted for who he is.
100%,
by somebody.
100%.
Yeah.
I think that's 100% right. She gives him that. She just allows him to be and accepts him.
And so the first thing he does is he comes out of the strip club, gets on a payphone, calls his best friend and said, "I'm taking all my stuff back. You can't have my stuff. I didn't mean it. You can't have my locker at the bowling alley."
But then he also says, "You know what? The guy was pretty good for us that year. We liked Scott Wood. And you know what? We probably wouldn't have been in the playoffs or whatever if it wasn't for him. And okay, he missed one lousy field goal. Jesus." And it's really, it's amazing. I love it. It's so charming for someone, and for someone who is, by all accounts, such an asshole, to be so charming is strange. But it's a perfect example of separating the artist from the art.
So let's talk about the celebration for a sec. Festen.
A movie that could only be Scandinavian. Right?
It's hard to know where to start. I have a lot of feelings about the movie. I guess there are a lot of just like, I was so captivated by it and moved by it. And so it takes place at this sort of grand country hotel, which is owned by this family. And the patriarch of the family is turning 60, and it's his birthday sort of weekend. And there are 3 children. There's the oldest one, Michael, who's basically a mess and aggressive and an asshole and, cheats on his wife. And
what a dick. The first thing we see him do is kick his own wife and kids out of the car.
And make them walk so he and his brother can drive to the house. Yeah. So there's Michael, the oldest. Then there's the sister Helena, who's
the sorry, just to interrupt you. The RAV4 in front of me is getting a ticket
because no one's in there.
No one's in it.
What's going to happen now?
I don't know. The guy with the green hat, he's going to come to me next. He'll either make me move or he'll.
Well, if he sees that you're wearing pro audio headphones, he'll know that you're engaged in serious work.
Oh, you're the podcast guy. Yeah, sure. Carry on.
Oh, do you like it? Oh no, I haven't listened to it. I just know that nobody actually listens. A friend of ours told me that she had listened to a couple of the episodes. And I said, oh, you listened to it? And she said, well, somebody has to. Friends like that.
Someone's got to. Sorry, so you were.
So then there's the second child is Helena, this daughter who's sort of the peacemaker, I guess, but also has been absent, traveled the world a lot, a little bit flighty in some ways.
Yeah, wanted to be a singer, wanted to be an actor, wanted to do this, wants to do that. Now is studying anthropology.
And then there's Christian, the youngest one. And what we quickly discover is that Christian had a twin sister who died very recently.
Yeah.
And we find this out because Michael, the oldest, didn't come to the funeral, but has come to this birthday party. And actually isn't invited to the birthday party because he's so predictably an asshole and an agent of chaos or whatever. So you've got these three kids. You're just immediately brought into this family. And it's handheld. And
Let me see what this guy wants.
Okay.
Hi there. You all right? Thanks. I'll move, yeah.
What did he say?
I thought he was speaking a different language, but I think he said sanitation come.
Oh, okay.
And then he kind of pointed. So I think when they show up, I have to move.
You should move now because we know that the street sweeper is just going to zoom down the street, and by the time you get it out of...
I'm quite away. I'm like 6 or 7 cars in.
I'm going to be upset if the street sweeper goes by and you don't have time to get out.
No, I'm going to move. I'll be on it. My eyes on the rearview mirror. The thing is, if I move now, someone will just come and take this spot, and then I'm fucked.
Right.
But I will move. Don't you worry. We'll do our civic duty today.
Thank you. So we're at this grand country hotel, and we discover that the kids have sort of grown up in the hotel. So they know it, and there's this, I think, beautiful relationship between Christian, the young son, and the chef, like the cook at the hotel. They were like childhood friends together, and obviously different classes, but there is a bond between them. I think that's absolutely beautiful, touching relationship that they have in a way.
Yeah.
And complicated.
Well, the way he helps him, is amazing.
Everything is going okay, and then the sister. This is a long recap, but it's so interesting. The sister has been, for whatever reason, Helena has been placed in the dead sister's room. And we realize it's the room where the sister committed suicide. She drowned herself in the tub. So there's this weird scene where everything's covered in white sheets, and she calls like the front desk guy to come up, and like it was hilarious. And she's talking about, is it haunted in here? And he's kind of not knowing whether to take her seriously and is a little freaked out. They pull the sheets off or whatever. She makes him lie down in the tub at one point. She starts to realize that there's like these little signs. At first it sounded to me like she's just superstitious or got this idea of it being haunted. But then you start to realize that this code, this little game has been left by her sister, that they used to play this game of getting warmer, where you would like see that an arrow had been like drawn on the wall, and the arrow would point to the doorway. And then if you went around the doorway, under the doorway frame, there would be another sign. And then eventually you would follow this. So she follows this trail, and she ends up finding this letter, and we see her read the letter, and then she hides the letter. And just from a writing point of view, that's so awesome, because that's like 15 minutes into the movie, and you just know
that's the bomb that's going to go off.
That letter has got to come out, and you're wanting it so badly to come out as you realize the stakes and as things escalate, even though you don't know what the letter says. So they have dinner. It's very Scandinavian. There's a toastmaster. There's lots of old relatives and whatever. It's great, and the time comes for the son, Christian, to give a toast, and he gets up, and basically in the course of the toast, he reveals that the father, who's turned 60, the patriarch who they're all there to celebrate, sexually abused him and the now dead twin sister for years.
When they were children.
When they were children. And that this is, and he sort of says it matter-of-factly in the course of this toast, and then sits down. And it's just dead fucking silence.
The reaction is amazing. From that point on, every choice is so carefully calibrated, because you could mess this up so many ways.
Yeah,
I think it's so well done. It's so the real genius of this movie is the writing.
Yeah.
It's
so they're
so
trying, and
beautifully
so everyone, there's this sort of weird social thing. I mean, this reminded me also of The Square and some of, is it Estlund? What's his name?
Ruben Östlund, yeah.
Östlund, his movies, that like, there's all this unspoken sort of code and like social thing where they all try and keep it from breaking. Like, we'll just take a cigarette break, or try and put it behind us and have grandma sing a sweet song or whatever it is. Like, it just basically the course of the movie is the whole evening just unraveling, and the family and the group trying to like keep the secret buried, and it will not stay buried. And then ultimately, of course, it culminates in Helena, the sister, reading out this letter.
Yeah.
Which is an incredible moment. And it's just so devastating, the whole scene. And when Christian says to the dad, I never knew just why you did it. Why would you do that? And the dad says, it was all you were good for.
Fucking hell. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So dark. So dark.
I'm getting choked up even now just thinking about it. They cut to the reaction shot of Christian, and oh my God, it's just...
It's crazy.
So it goes on and it goes on, but... and the way that the staff is brought into it as well. At one point, the staff are all brought into, like, go into the rooms and steal all the car keys. So none of the guests can leave. So all those sort of trapped there.
You have to hold it. Yeah, we have to, because he could have... They basically, you think after the first time he makes his speech that they're going to whitewash it. They're going to say, oh, well, you know, Christian, he's always been the imaginative one, but this is a bit reckless telling stories like this, isn't it? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the idea is that they have to keep churning. Yeah. You have to keep burying people's faces in it until finally the niceties end. Yeah. Finally, the like social conventions, the drinking game, although not before they sing a series of incredibly racist fucking songs in front of the poor black guy who Helena, is it?
Helena,
brings as her date. I mean, that's one of the most like fucking hell, so cringe. And again, incredibly Scandinavian, because you know those songs are real, and you know that like deep racism that does exist in those societies. And this idea of like singing songs at each other, I always think that this movie is in direct conversation with not just Fanny and Alexander, but all the films of Bergman, basically. But it's such an update, essentially. Right. If Bergman was around, this is what he'd be doing. This is the movie he'd be making.
It's true. Yeah, I thought of Fanny and Alexander too. I mean, it has that Bergman-esque, if I may, like that emotional rawness and some of those.
A line like "That's all you're good for" is straight out of Bergman. Like that's the kind of fucking thing that Bergman would do.
I also thought, you know, since we're talking about form and function here, form and content, like the Dogme 95 rules fit so beautifully to it because, I mean, for one thing, as the evening goes on, it's getting darker and darker, and you can't have artificial light.
Grainier
so
and
it gets grainier and grainier and more difficult to see what people's expressions are, and everything becomes more silhouetted and more
I love it.
Obscure.
And you know, my like favorite thing in movies is parties. I'm the guy who every movie I make, I gotta have a big party scene. Like I love a party scene. This whole movie is a party scene. It's tailor-made for me. It's the kind of movie that when I watched it again, and I watched it twice back in the day, and I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I was again just blown away by it. Interesting, the things that I didn't remember about it, but the thing that I came away with was like, shit, man, why don't we just make movies like that? Like, why don't we just fucking make a movie? Like, it was inspiring because it's one location, it's a bunch of digital video cameras. It's just about the writing and the acting.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course, the editing, putting it together. But like, it's just a fantastic group of characters and an amazing script, really well done. You don't need, this is what Dogma proves. Yeah. This is when it works. you don't need all the other shit.
Yeah.
You don't need the music. You don't need the fancy stuff. You just need people and a good story.
Yeah, it's totally captivating from the start in a way that's, I mean, it's got this, it's got this great and, slightly sensational or whatever kind of hook to it and sort of plot in a way. But there's not really much to it. Really, you're just brought into this world of these characters, and it's so believable and so textured and real, and all the little, the glance reveals what the gaze obscures.
Exactly.
So many little moments of expressions or of body language. It did remind me of your movies and how you love a party and you love those.
I do. This is my kind of movie. It really is like my kind of movie.
You're still keeping an eye out for the Street Sweeper, are you?
I'm watching. Just the immediacy of it. That's the other thing that digital video really gives you, and that kind of handheld work. It takes away in a way that like Buffalo 66. He uses the style to, in some ways, to distance you. And to make it more palatable, make it like the flashbacks and stuff, they're not as, I mean, the content is still pretty dark, like, especially with some of them. But there's sort of a remove, right? Whereas there's no remove, there's no filter between you and the film.
And then there's this amazing, well, first I just want to call back to something. Before you were talking about your movie Cry Funny Happy, your first feature, which I had the good fortune to appear in and also to score.
That's right.
And I just want to point out to anyone who's listening to this that notice that Sam said, when we made Cry Funny Happy. I just think that's very, very beautiful and a testament to your generosity as an artist, that you always say when we made such and such instead of when I made.
Oh, yeah. Because it is that. I'm sure that like this movie, Vinterberg's movie, it's so obviously like everyone's on the same page. It only works if it's a we.
Well, that's the thing is like Vincent Gallo would never say when we made Buffalo 66. You know what I mean?
No, that's true. He would not.
So yeah, I just think that it's very telling about your spirit of generosity and of collaboration. So then at the end, doing a lot of recap here, but the secret is revealed, and then there is, again, this very Nevian, I thought, moment where after everyone's gone to bed, the older brother Michael disappears, and Helena, the sister, wakes up Christian, and they go downstairs, and there's this wonderful, like, 3:00 in the morning scene with the brother and the sister and their dates and a guy at the piano, and everyone's completely hammered, and there's just like a couple of candles lit, and it's so like exactly that feeling, right? We've all been in a situation sort of like that, and they do this, but I'm skipping over the amazing part, which is that Christian, who's sort of the main character in a way, that after the secret has come out, he's finally able to connect with this member of the staff, this young woman who obviously they have a kind of history together, but you've gotten these hints that Christian has never really been with a woman, that he's not
available.
That he's either impotent or he has some sexual, she sort of offers herself to him early in the film and he says no. But that finally he's released, he's opened up in a similar way to Gallo at the end of Buffalo 66. Like the trauma is released and he has this connection with this woman and they go to bed. And then he has this amazing, amazing, amazing sequence where he has this kind of dream where he encounters his sister. He's like able to be with Pia, the girl, because the sister is present. The dead sister is there and he sees her. And it's all intercut with this candlelight and you don't really know what's happening. And then the background, there's this boo, boo, that keeps repeating in a very dreamlike way. And the boop, boop, you realize becomes, when he wakes up from the dream, is the phone in the hotel room. That's been ringing as he's having this dream. We've all had those experiences of the dream where the alarm is coming off. But he sees the sister and they have this very touching moment. And he says, "Should I come to you?" And she just shakes her head.
No. Yeah, it's very good.
And they hug. It's just beautiful, man. And so even the end, I don't know what else to say. I really was affected by it.
It's a great movie. It's just a great movie. And it's And yeah, you're right. The movie at the end, this is what I mean. They both sort of tackle this idea of how do we get out from under the damage?
Mm.
Right? What does it take? And it's very, very different paths, very, very different stories, but same basic.
Well, there's a great moment at the end. Speaking of the social conventions, so then they have this, I guess, is a very Scandinavian, like the breakfast the next morning, where they've all been in black tie the night before, but they have this quasi-formal sit-down breakfast, but everyone's like in their pajamas, basically, in robes.
Yeah.
And they all sit down and they're kind of eating, and attention is definitely lifted. And then the parents come in, and they sit at the head of the table.
Here he comes, Jimmy.
Get out! Don't let him get past you.
Don't let him move. Here he comes. He's coming up the block. So I'm going over here. You go over here. I'm going to go over here.
The street sweeper couldn't come until we had reached the point of release and of the trauma being processed.
Right. There you go. He's going for it. I'm actually going to move to another spot now, I guess.
This is going to sound pretentious, but the other thing that's so beautiful about this movie is it really is a film. You know what I mean? Like, so much of it is about the visual, just moments of body language, or just the way you cut from one thing to another. There's so much that's said that you don't need to explain. You know me, I'm always over explaining. I want to have the guy in the beginning of the movie explain what the stakes are and what's going to happen. But so they have this breakfast, and the parents come, and then the dad stands up and gives this speech where he basically comes clean and says, I know that when you all leave this house today, I will never see any of you again. Yeah. And I apologize for what I've done. And Christian, my son, you fought a good fight or whatever. And then you
fought a good fight. That's a really interesting way of putting it. Yeah.
And then he sits down, and there's kind of this awkward. And then the older son, which is a beautiful moment because the older son has been this complete fucking wreck, but who really so badly wants to be the oldest son who takes over the family business, whatever. Finally is that person, comes up and comes over to the dad and quietly says, like, you need to leave now so we can have breakfast. And the dad's like, oh, okay. And the dad gets up, and then the wife stays behind. The mother is just as bad.
Amazing.
Her speech character to the kids is so manipulative and cutting. So anyway, fantastic movie. I recommend it unreservedly to anyone who might. And it's a movie that made me annoyed at myself that I had deprived myself of having seen this for so long. Of course, there's no way I would have known, but like there are certain movies like that where I've thought like, man, it's just because of like a fluke that I happened to like watch whatever, this movie or Michael Clayton or Upstream Color, whatever it is. And like, I could have easily not seen that. And I feel like I would have been bereft in some way as a human being by not having seen it. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say that Michael Clayton makes you a better or more complete person or whatever, but I do feel like the way that you feel after you've read a novel that really has that like touched you and like it comes inside and like and becomes part of you. You know what I mean? Like that's
this is the thing. This is the feeling. Not to bring it back to this. Like we don't need to get into this, but this is the feeling that I never get from a TV series.
Right.
What you're describing, and that is the difference. I think I've never had that feeling from a TV show. I have had like amazement at TV shows, and I've had like complete engagement and complete like I've been desperate to see the next episode, and I've loved TV shows. But what you're talking about in terms of the experience of a work of art, like changing you and making you better, like as a human being, like the real, if the transformative power of a great book or a great movie, I've never had that with a TV. I guess, maybe Decalogue, if you consider that a TV show. But it's tough to say.
I don't think so.
I mean, it was made for TV, I guess. But like, it would be that, like on that level, maybe that. But like, it's that thing. Like, if we, I don't want to see what happens next with Vincent Gallo and Christina Ricci.
Right.
You know, I don't care what happens next. That would ruin it.
Yeah. Now, we're running out of time, so we have to quickly pivot to 1999. Now, I know I've said this before, Sam, But an absolutely crackerjack year at the movies,
Oh,
1999, and especially in, with regard to this sort of sweet spot of movies, not just good independent movies, but good movies, and the time we were both in New York, although we hadn't met yet, but we were both in New York at this time.
Right.
1999, the year of great movies like Cruel Intentions, She's All That, Never Been Kissed, Runaway Bride, Random Hearts,
Jeez.
But I'm a Cheerleader, Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo, and Bicentennial Man.
Classics, all, each and every one.
All those from 1999. All right, here are some movies from 1999 I have seen. Eyes Wide Shut.
Wow, was that 99? I guess so.
At some point, we should talk about that movie. Is it a good movie, actually? Was it finished, actually? It seems like it's going to be remembered as one of the big Kubrick movies.
I don't think it'll eclipse the big ones, right? I don't think it'll ever have the standing of 2001. 2001, I think, is the one that keeps coming back around.
Let me move on. Fight Club. The Matrix.
Oh, yeah. It's a good year.
Great year. The Green Mile. The Sixth Sense.
Oh, yeah.
American Beauty. Galaxy Quest, which I only saw for the first time a year or two ago. Notting Hill, which I am fond of. This is a stuttering Hugh Grant rom-com, but I do like that movie. A movie I really love. It's a sprawler. It's a mess, I know, but I totally, totally love it. Magnolia.
Oh, yeah. Love it, too.
Yeah. Anthony Minghella's The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Mm-hmm.
A movie called Being John Malkovich.
That's a fucking great movie.
The Insider, one of our favorites.
Oh, man, what a great movie.
Love The Insider.
That's a movie I came out of the cinema being like, that's a fucking movie.
Yeah, yeah. All right, few more. Election, Alexander Payne. Topsy-Turvy. Have you ever seen that, Mike Lee?
I don't think I have actually ever seen it.
It's really great, very charming. It's about Gilbert and Sullivan, and it's got the guys we love.
I will watch it one day.
Timothy Spall and what's his name?
Yeah. The guy in the Woody Allen movie in Bullets Over Broadway.
No, I'm thinking of, come on.
What's his name? I'm not even close to remembering it.
He's in the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah.
Also. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm flaking out because I like him so much. What's his name? Professor...
Just look up Topsy-Turvy.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Jesus Christ. Have you ever used the internet before? He's looking for a character he doesn't know in a movie he doesn't know.
Jim Broadbent. There he goes.
I said it right.
Yeah, amazing.
You know what that was?
Yeah.
You know what that was? Jungian synchronicity. As soon as you had the answer, it was available. It became available to me.
That's like how as soon as somebody breaks the 4-minute mile, suddenly everyone can break it.
Everyone can do it. That was it. Jim Broadbent. As soon as it came on your face.
Yeah, that was uncanny.
Jim Broadbent.
Yeah. And finally, Three Kings, a movie I like a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So that's great. Those are all from 1999 and all movies that I've seen. So that's
good
great.
Time for the movies.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Movies from 1999 I haven't seen. I think this is going to be a tough one. Okay. Office Space.
Oh, yeah, that's a good movie. That's funny.
The Blair Witch Project.
Mm-hmm. Very of its time. Talk about the DV. That was when DV hit the mainstream.
All right, here's the big one. The Wind Will Carry Us.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. I have to go there.
Afterlife.
Oh, Jesus, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
Koreeda.
A Japanese movie called Audition.
That would scare the pants off you.
You don't think I'm up for it?
I don't know. Might be too soon, maybe.
I do one of those a year. So we've already got a few good ones. Boys Don't Cry. Never saw that.
Oh, yeah.
Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai.
Jim Jarmusch and Forrest Whitaker. I saw that in the cinema. Yeah, it's a good movie.
Bringing Out the Dead.
I just rewatched that again recently. Just because, I don't know why, but it's fun.
Scorsese.
I like that movie. Yeah. Nick Cage as a crazy paramedic.
All About My Mother.
Oh, that's also very good.
So you talk about foreign films, and already we've got 3 or 4 foreign films here that are real contenders.
Yeah, that's good.
Here's another one, Beau Travail.
I saw that with Alex in the cinema. We couldn't make head or tail of it.
Huh.
It's such a weird movie. It's really good. Alex loved it. I was like, I think I loved it, but I was confused by it.
Supposedly one of the great movies I've read.
Maybe.
And then finally, The Limey.
Oh, The Limey. Limey is an amazing example of editing.
That's Soderbergh, right? Okay, so we actually have, as far as I can tell, that's the end of the list. These are all foreign movies. So stick that up your, put that.
I hit a nerve, obviously.
Well, I don't, maybe it's because it's true. I'm afraid it's true that I secretly hate foreigners. Here we go. The Wind Will Carry Us, Afterlife, Audition, All About My Mother.
Wow. Well, I think we can scratch Audition off because I rewatched it not too long ago with some people, and they were like, it's really gory.
Too scary? Oh, yeah. No. I don't think I need that.
It's do you like the idea of a woman using like a wire to just hack off someone's ankle?
No, I don't care for that at all,
that.
actually.
You don't like that? What if she puts in little needles and goes,
No, why would you do that?
No. A lot of torture in that
Why
movie.
would anyone watch that?
It's quite good.
Daily life is torturous. I don't need to see anyone else. I need to pay to see somebody do that.
It's quite good, though. So we can take Audition off. I think the question becomes Kiarostami, which we've never done one, and we start to, after this, are all the other movies outside of Iran, like Certified Copy and stuff? This might be, this is an incredible movie. And it's about...
Well, give us 20 seconds on who Kiarostami is.
Kiarostami is probably the greatest of the Iranian filmmakers. He started as like making ads and stuff in the 60s, 70s. But he became known, especially post-revolution, for making these movies in Iran, very simple, humanist sort of stories, almost like deceptively simple stuff about children, about things. But he was putting his finger on everything that was going on in the society when you weren't allowed to do any of that.
Right.
So it's kind of incredible. I think that has to be the one that we pick, but I'm also intrigued. But Afterlife was a very, very... another one of those movies that when I saw it just blew me away, and like you've never seen anything like it. It's such a strange film. And he's also an excellent director. We may get back to him though. There's other films of his that come up later that are very, very good.
All About My Mother.
All About My Mother. Well, we've never done an Almodovar, right? And you've seen Talk to Her. Mm-hmm. So we can't do that one. That would be my pick if I had to pick one to do.
It seems like, given your...
I think with the Iranianness of it all, The Wind Will Carry Us is the one to do, probably.
It's a shame about Afterlife, though, I guess. It sounds like it's a real humdinger.
Afterlife is a great movie. It's a very beautiful movie and a very strange movie. But let's do The Wind Will Carry Us, because it'll lead to, I think, it might lead to a more interesting conversation.
All right. I'm glad to see you. I'm glad that you did your civic duty today.
I did.
I hope your cough improves.
Me too.
All right. So long, mate.
All right. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
And that's that. Next time, we'll be discussing one of the masterpieces of Iranian cinema, Abbas Kiarostami's meditative drama, The Wind Will Carry Us, a movie about hospitality and death, among other things. It's funnier than it sounds. Check it out if you have a chance. Bye for now.